The Penguin finale is exactly why I prefer DC over Marvel. I still really enjoy Marvel, but there's just something about DC. They're not afraid to take that extra step. They're not afraid to explore the darker themes and elements within its story or characters. DC is just, if all this stuff was real, if the Marvel Universe and the DC Universe was real, DC is the most realistic interpretation of characters. I used to watch a show called Gotham. It was basically Bruce Wayne but as a kid and how Gotham was. And they had the Penguin on that show. And not only did I enjoy the Penguin interpretation in that series, but I'm willing to say it was one of, if not the best part of that show. And I honestly never thought people and these like Hollywood executives would care enough to actually have a full-on interpretation about the Penguin, but they did it and they topped it and they honestly peaked with it. Because this is it. This is the best interpretation of Penguin we're ever gonna get, ever. I think we just watched that. Not only that, after finishing the Penguin, I'm willing to say we're about to get the best Batman adaptation ever. Let's just get right into it. The Penguin just ended, and honestly, we don't have to go through the entire season because the last episode has everything you love about the Penguin in it. And taking how I only said love, because there's nothing I disliked about this show. This show is honestly flawless. There's not one critique I have on the show, and I'm not trying to glaze. I'm being honest. If there's one thing that I had to point out that stuck out from this show, is the unpredictability. At first they make you think Alberto's coming back, he's gonna be the new, no! And then they switch it. And then they make you think, oh, it's gonna be a mystery the entire season with Sophia coming, no! They switch it. She finds out by episode 4. And then they make you think, oh, it's about Bliss and this new drug, no! And then the whole lab blows up. And then they make you think, oh, the Penguin and Victor are the new duo, they're gonna show up in the next Batman movies. And no! Because, spoiler alert, they kill off Vic in the last scene of the show. Not literally the last scene, but in the end of the show. I think they nailed it. I genuinely think that was the way to do it. Because at the end of the day, just because we love the show, just because the show is fire, it doesn't mean we're watching a superhero show. This is still a show about a villain, the Penguin. Unpredictability is a big thing because think about it. Yes, there was a big comic book craze a couple years ago and etc. But it did significantly dial down. And why is that? Because if it's a show, if it's a movie, most of the time we know exactly how comic book movies go these days. Or shows. That's part of the reason why The Boys was so successful. But that's also part of the reason why season 4 is the worst season. For the people that watch The Boys, what made it so good? It's unpredictability and the fact that they're willing to take it anywhere. We have a bunch of Superman movies. We had a bunch of Spider-Man movies. We have all these different interpretations. Captain America, Iron Man, The Flash, and etc. But we don't have those interpretations embracing the dark elements of the characters and the story. I just want to give a quick shout out to Batman vs Superman. When it first came out, I hated this movie, but it's starting to age like fine wine. The longer time goes, the better the movie is. It's usually, we embrace it for a bit, but we don't go all the way, and then we push back and the heroes win in the end. Another good thing this show did is they roped us in. They made us think Penguin had integrity. They made us think Penguin had somewhat of a code. They made us think Vic was the exception. His mom was the exception. There's no exception. Sophia was right. He doesn't care about anybody. And I can't believe that I fell for it. I read the comics. I watched the shows. I watched the movies. I've seen every interpretation of the Penguin. And somehow I thought Colin Farrell's Penguin would be different. But he's not different. Guys, this, honestly, I made a video about the Penguin around over a month ago. Around episode 2 or 3. And I never watched a minute of Sopranos, and I still haven't. But I compared it to, I said, it kind of feels like watching The Sopranos, even if I've never watched The Sopranos, if that makes sense. And I still haven't watched The Sopranos, but I feel like I just watched one of the best crime shows ever. Not only is The Penguin the best comic book show that I've ever watched, it has the best rollout for a movie possibly that I've ever watched. The other thing that I have to say that can't go unnoticed that drew me in to the series is the acting. Colin Farrell and Christine, she's the actress that plays Sophia, that's her first name in real life. They should get the award. Whatever the award for whatever acting thing they're doing is, they should get that award. I hear a lot of comic book watchers say, oh, this person should get this award, this person should get this award for this movie, no, this time it's for real. It's serious. Like, whatever the most serious award show is for television, Colin Farrell should win Best Lead Actor for Penguin, and Christine, I don't know what her last name is, should win for Sophia Falcone. Especially Colin. I'm not gonna lie, this is up there with Heath Ledger's Joker. Like, this might be the best interpretation of a comic book character that I've ever seen. He might not be able to get booked ever again after this. He might have to embrace the Penguin for the rest of his career. That's how good this performance is. He might get typecasted out of Hollywood. Because I don't see Colin Farrell as Colin Farrell anymore. I see him as the Penguin. And if I see Colin Farrell in something else, I'll be like, hey, that's the Penguin. But it's not just them two. I have to give love to the actor that played Victor. I have to give love to the actress that played the Penguin's mom. I have to give love to the crazy psychiatrist dude that's creepy for Sophia. Everybody in this show is a great actor or actress. I'll be honest, guys. The first time that I watched The Batman, I gave it like maybe a 6 out of 10. You know, maybe it was all the hype, all the anticipation. I'm kind of like that. If I'm waiting for over a year for something, if it's not a 10 or 11 out of 10, I'll be disappointed, even if I end up loving it afterwards. But then I watched The Batman again, and then I gave it like maybe an 8 out of 10. I really, really enjoyed The Batman on my second watch. And then I watched it for the third time, and I liked it even more. And then I watched The Penguin, and I liked The Batman even more, because now I understand where the direction is going. We really might be witnessing the best interpretation of I don't even know what to call it, of a comic book character, comic book verse with movies, shows. We really might be witnessing the best that it's ever gonna be. And yes, before you guys say it, I know the Infinity Saga for the MCU was goated. But the thing about DC is, like I said, it has that element of realism in it. A lot of people that have never read or watched a comic book movie could watch The Penguin. Even the Batman. But it still feels like the Batman. It still feels like Gotham. It still feels like it's 100% faithful to the source material. And listen, Matt Reeves, do you. Whatever you gotta do. I was honestly so upset that we had to wait, what is it gonna be, like 4 years for the Batman 2. And I was not excited for the Penguin because I kind of viewed it like a money grab, because I'm kind of jaded with how the MCU is going right now. And I just viewed it like a money grab to waste time for the Batman 2. But after watching the Penguin, it's like, no, like, they're committed. This is serious. This is for real. This is a real... wow. Wow. The last thing I want to touch on is the most surprising part of the whole entire series, Victor's death. Honestly, at first, when the blast from his past, that girl he used to know, came back into the series and was going to LA and wanted Victor to go with her, that's when I thought he was probably gonna die. But then around episode 6, I'd say. That's when I was like, oh no, Vic is like, they made you think Vic is gonna be a part of this verse. Vic is the Penguins' number 2 for the foreseeable future. I'm pretty sure everybody that watched the Penguin thought that. But no, they literally killed Vic off in the last like 5 minutes of the series. And I'm not mad at it. I am not mad at it at all. Even as I was watching it, I was not mad at it. I was mesmerized. I was like, what? I forgot that shows took chances like that. I forgot that you're not always supposed to keep it safe. You're not always supposed to establish a verse. You're not always supposed to establish, make setup for another season. Sometimes you just have a plan no matter how popular the show gets, no matter how popular certain characters get. You have to stick to the plan. And they did it. They stuck to the plan. They stuck to the character. They stuck to the adaptation. They stuck to the source material. And I have to give the Penguin his props. I have to give Matt Reeves his props. I have to give whoever else is involved in the Penguin, the Batman, that saga, their props. Now that I think about it, if Vic survived, it wouldn't really make sense. It wouldn't really be following the themes and all the little breadcrumbs that the show has been giving us that led up to the last episode, that led up to the guy's own mom telling him that she despises him and tries to kill her, tries to kill him in her last moments. Him keeping Victor as his number 2 and having Victor being kind of like Victor's mentor, father figure, it wouldn't really make sense. It wouldn't. The fact that you didn't respect your mom's last wishes and, hey, if I go, that's just my time. If my mind goes, hey, just please make me a promise. You know, you'll just end it there because I don't want to live like that, blah, blah, blah. After you faking like you're this mama's boy or anything for my mom. I love my mom. You didn't even respect her last wishes. And you wanted us to believe you're gonna be Victor's father figure? No! Him killing Victor is perfect. That's what was always supposed to happen. He basically killed his own brothers and isn't really that remorseful about it. Why did we ever think Vic was safe? It does suck because Vic was a really good character and I was really excited for what roles he was gonna, how he would potentially evolve. It does suck, but it just makes the show that much better. And I was also getting ready to go on a mini rant and say, do not come up with a season 2. This is a perfect one and done season. Don't potentially open yourself to ruin the Penguins' legacy as a show. But I trust them. If they come up with a season 2, I have faith now with the Batman and the Penguin that it's not going to be a money grab. I have faith that if they come up with a second season, it's not just going to be to pass time for the Batman 3. It's going to make sense. So if they come up with another season, I'll be there. If they don't, I'm content with the ending. I am very content because we're going to get more Penguin and Batman movies. We're going to get more Sophia. Actually, Victor's gone. But we're going to get more of this. So I'm good. Are you guys good though? Do you guys agree with what I had to say about the Penguin? Should I have critiqued certain things? Because I don't have any critiques. I'm gonna be honest, I don't. But do you guys? If you do, comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. And if you guys have not watched the show and you've gone this far, I kind of spoiled major elements. But you should still watch the show because it is the best comic book show that I have ever watched.